In the quiet hours, a major European capital awakens violently. Air raid sirens pierce the night, an increasingly common sound. Official channels acknowledge the reality after months of denial. A public statement confirms a significant drone attack. Reports indicate at least 10 distinct explosions across the city. A multi-pronged assault aims to strike key targets. This attack is a kinetic component of a broader pressure campaign, described as a modern siege targeting a state's entire system. Unlike ancient sieges, this targets the nervous system, not just encirclement. The strategy relies on three pillars of pressure. First, the kinetic pillar: long-range strikes with UAVs. UAVs degrade military, industrial, and logistical infrastructure. Second, the economic pillar: suffocating sanctions. Sanctions cut off access to technology, finance, and critical components. Third, the logistical pillar: methodical disruption of supply chains. Supply chains are meticulously targeted to create shortages. The combined effect is a systematic weakening of the nation. A modern siege designed to cripple without physical invasion. The long-term consequences are yet to be fully understood. But the immediate impact is clear: chaos and disruption. The resilience of the nation will be tested in the coming days. Can the nation withstand this multifaceted assault? The answer may redefine modern warfare itself. The world watches as this 21st century siege unfolds. A new era of conflict has begun. The rules of engagement have changed forever. This can be described as a modern siege. Unlike ancient sieges, this targets a state's nervous system. It's a strategy built on kinetic, economic, and logistical pillars. The kinetic pillar involves long-range strikes, degrading military, industrial, and logistical infrastructure. The economic pillar: suffocating sanctions, cutting off access to technology and finance. The logistical pillar disrupts supply chains, focusing on the energy sector, fueling the war machine. The objective: systemic paralysis and psychological exhaustion. At 2:10 a.m., the scale of the attack became clear. Aviation authorities enacted the carpet plan, a maximum-level security protocol, immediate and total closure of all civilian airspace. The implementation had an instantaneous effect. Departing flights were grounded on the tarmac. Inbound aircraft were rerouted to alternate airfields, effectively transforming the capital into a temporary island, severing its primary connection to the outside world, causing immense disruption to passenger travel and to critical air cargo, further straining an already beleaguered economy. By 2:25 a.m., a deeply alarming incident unfolded, providing a stark illustration of the immense strain on Moscow's airports. Were shut down, a standard defensive procedure enacted. Inbound aircraft rerouted to distant airfields hundreds of miles away. The capital transformed into a temporary island isolated from the world. Immense disruption to passenger travel and critical air cargo ensued. The already strained economy faced further pressure due to these disruptions. A deeply alarming incident unfolded in the skies over the city at 2:25 a.m. This illustrated the immense strain on the air defense network. A civilian passenger jet was denied permission to land. Instead of being diverted, it was instructed to enter a holding pattern. Overwhelmed air traffic controllers issued the instruction. The holding pattern was directly over the densely populated metropolitan area. Flight tracking data confirmed the airliner was at a terrifyingly low altitude. It flew just above residential high-rises, only 10 to 12 stories high. Aviation analysts assess this as a desperate measure of last resort. This suggests a critical failure in identification friend or foe systems. IFF technology differentiates between allied and hostile aircraft. The airliner was forced below the minimum engagement envelope. This was to guarantee they would not accidentally shoot it down. They were targeting smaller, slower-moving Ukrainian drones. This fear is well-founded given the history of friendly fire incidents. The Russian military has a history of catastrophic friendly fire incidents, including the downing of a civilian aircraft in late 2024. This incident highlights critical vulnerabilities in air defense systems. The desperate measures taken reveal a lack of confidence in existing technology. These failures pose a significant threat to civilian lives. A lack of confidence plagues friend or foe systems. IFF tech sends signals to ID allies and hostiles. Airliners forced below missile engagement envelope. Friendly fire incidents highlight the risk. A systemic crisis plagues air defenses. The capital's air defense is technologically deficient. Modern drone warfare overwhelms defenses. Explosions subside, digital battlefront comes alive. Footage shows UAVs cruising through the night sky. A bright orange fireball confirms a successful strike. Comprehensive damage assessment is nearly impossible. A new law criminalizes sharing strike information. Censorship creates an information vacuum. The Kremlin hides strategic failures. The homeland's vulnerability is growing. The kinetic assault is just one element. The logistical pillar is under siege. The incident reveals systemic crisis. Digital battlefront came alive. Footage shows UAVs cruising through the night sky. A bright orange fireball confirms a successful strike. Comprehensive damage assessment is impossible. A new law criminalizes sharing strike information. Censorship prevents the public from seeing evidence. This is a kinetic assault. Sharing strike evidence is now nearly impossible due to a new law. This law criminalizes sharing any information about strikes. The censorship is an attempt to create an information vacuum. This assault is the most visible part of a larger strategy. The logistical pillar is tightening its grip on a key highway. Massive queues at fuel stations are now a daily reality. This is a result of drone strikes on oil refining infrastructure. Strikes have hit major facilities, reducing gasoline and diesel output. Domestic shortages are crippling supply chains. Ordinary citizens are now impacted in major cities. The economic pillar is exerting unbearable pressure. Russia is unable to service its fleet of Western-built aircraft. The government has made a formal appeal to an international organization. Citing safety concerns, Russia is begging for sanctions relief. They need spare parts for their Boeing and Airbus planes. Airlines have resorted to cannibalizing their own fleets. This practice is unsustainable and inherently unsafe. This desperate plea was sharply analyzed. A former commanding general of United States Army Europe analyzed the plea. He described the situation as, "The situation is critical. The impact on citizens is significant. The economic pressure is mounting. The future remains uncertain. The situation continues to evolve." The Russian government has made a humiliating appeal, citing grave concerns for passenger safety on Western planes. Russia is begging for sanctions relief to import spare parts. Airlines are cannibalizing fleets, stripping parts for others. General Hodges analyzed this plea as proof sanctions are working. Sanctions are pushing Russia's high-tech sectors to the breaking point. Enforcement must be strengthened to close smuggling loopholes. Critical Western components are smuggled through third countries. General Hodges has zero sympathy for this self-inflicted plight. The nation prioritizes cruise missiles over passenger jets. A stark guns versus butter choice where guns were chosen. Sacrificing the well-being of its own citizens to fuel its aggression abroad. This assault on Russia's stability elicited a furious reaction. President Putin was challenged by a BBC correspondent on the contradiction between security and drone attacks. President Putin launched into a lengthy tirade, defending the invasion as a preemptive and necessary war. A necessary war for Russia's very sovereignty. He repeated a narrative of grievance, accusing NATO of breaking promises with its eastward expansion, orchestrating a state coup. In Ukraine in 2014, the challenge to Russia's stability has sparked a fierce response. The English BBC correspondent confronted the world leader at a press conference. Drones attacking the capital expose a contradiction in rhetoric. The world leader defended the invasion as a necessary war for sovereignty. He repeated a narrative of grievance, accusing NATO of broken promises. The world leader claims a state coup was orchestrated to create an anti-Russia base. This narrative paints Russia as a besieged fortress defending itself. It is crucial for justifying the immense costs of the war to the population. The credibility of this narrative is disintegrating with every air raid siren. Citizens find their local fuel pump has run dry, adding to the strain. The modern siege is turning the distant war into a grim daily reality. We are witnessing history unfold. Understanding these events is vital. Detailed, fact-based analysis helps stay informed on strategic realities. Subscribe to the channel for in-depth reports that cut through the noise. Your support allows us to continue bringing you in-depth reports. Click the subscribe button and enable notifications to never miss an update.